Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki from Genic Fashions, and this is the fourth video in the series, Say Yes to Making the Dress. So my sister reached out to me and asked me to make her wedding dress, and I said yes. In the previous videos, I walked you through the design process and the prototyping, and you got to see a shell of the dress. In this video, I'll walk you through all the ups and downs of the fittings. So I have 3 weeks to get this done, and there is a time crunch, so let's get started. Okay, so here's what the dress looked like during the first fitting. And I'm actually pretty encouraged that it looks like kind of like a dress. But there are quite a few things that I need to get done before we have our next fitting. So the first thing that we have to do is make sure that we have the side seams of the skirt base stitched. Once we make that adjustment, I'm pretty confident that the front of the dress will look pretty good and the side of the dress will look good. But the back of the dress is another question. There's quite a bit to do there. First of all, the dress was extremely hard to get on. So all that happiness and joy I felt about getting the zipper right, well, I have to revisit it now because I have to make that zipper longer so that it's more helpful when she has that space so she can get it on and off. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the panels in the back, the Peter Pan panels, were a total fail. So I have to go in and redesign them. So here is the redesign of the panels in the back. Here is what I plan to work on tonight and over the course of the next couple days. In addition to those tasks, I'm going to adjust the straps for a better fit, and I'm going to prep the lower skirt. So that's the part of the dress that will serve eventually as the train. And so once I'm done with that, I will be ready for the next fitting. Here's what the dress looked like from the back during the second fitting. My mom held the train onto the skirt portion so we could get a sense of what it would look like when attached, and I have to say, I am really happy with the progress. Before my sister fits again, I am going to work on the skirt a bit. I think it needs to be slightly looser in the hips and tighter below. Just want to get that fit just right. I'm also going to be working on the panels in the back again. Notice, yes, they are much better than they were before with the triangles, but they still need to be folded under. Finally, I am also going to be working on the lining. I'm going to be cutting and sewing the lining and pinning it to the dress. All right. So we just finished fitting number 3, and I am so excited with how things are coming along. I have to admit, I was really nervous about the back panels, and now they are sitting where I want them to sit. So now that everything is pretty much sitting almost exactly where I want it to sit, I am ready to start machine sewing. So far I've been hand sewing everything, base stitching everything. It's been taking so long, and now I'm ready to go to the sewing machine and start stitching things together. The only thing that I'm not going to be stitching together is the side seams of the skirt and anything that allows me to get to the side seams of the skirt, because even though it is super close to what I want it to look like, it's still not quite sitting on my sister's figure the way I want it to. So I'm going to go back in and try and change the shape of the skirt again and make it better. All right. So I just finished fitting number 4, and I'm happy to say that I got a little bit further than I thought I would by this point. I started the process of hand sewing the rhinestones onto the straps, and my hope is that by the next fitting I will be able to finish that process. It is a very time-consuming process, but it's so worth it. I'm also going to be just cleaning up some seam allowances and also base stitching the train onto the skirt. So excited to see the dress during the next fitting. We just finished fitting number 5, and I am relieved to be close to the end of this process. Unfortunately, I am still struggling to figure out how to get the skirt to sit properly on my sister's hips the way I want it to. So I'm just gonna have to take some time and think about it tonight. I am getting on one hand some advice saying loosen the skirt and it will make it fall better, but on the other hand I'm afraid that if I loosen the skirt it will fit even weirder because it is kind of loose in some places. So again, I'll just think about that tonight In the meantime, I will work on two other things. I will be working on attaching some piping cord to the perimeter of the train, and I will also be working on the belt tonight. So I'll be attaching the rhinestone, the same rhinestone that I attached to the straps. I'll be attaching to the belt and creating the belt. So today we did both the 6th and the 7th fitting. The 7th fitting was our final fitting and it was not planned. It's just after the 6th fitting, I was very frustrated that the skirt was still not sitting the way I wanted it to. And so, you know, I asked her for some more time. She stayed at my mom's house and I just started to rack my brain. And then I, right in the nick of time, found this. Look at this thing. It's seam allowance from the lining. I forgot to cut the seam allowance out of the lining. This thing is huge and it was distorting everything in its path. So I cut the seam allowance out and I'm so excited to show you what the dress ultimately looked like. However, you've invested so much time and so much energy into following this series that I don't want to just show you another fitting. I want to show you the dress on her special day at her wedding. So don't forget to press like, don't forget to subscribe for the last and final video in this series so that I can show you her wonderful dress and you can take a look at her perspective throughout the process as we talk about how everything felt on her end as we created this dress for her. All right, so see you soon.